it's responsive to patients in terms of getting studies ordered. So in other words, once an order is put in by us, that once they get insurance approval, they're calling the patient and making sure they get in touch with the patient to get set up for the study, whether it's an in-lab polysomnography or a home study. So I would say quality, number one. Cost, I'm not really involved with that. I wasn't really involved with the original one because that was more of the financial people who were involved, the CEO, the CFO of the hospital and the CFO of the company, so that's more done on that basis. And, obviously there's a limitation on how many beds you could have. Obviously, you don't want to have too many beds that there are open beds, but you have to have enough so that you're not wasting, that you're not waiting 3 months out for a study. So accessibility is, so quality number one, accessibility number two, and then obviously the contract has to be negotiated, but I'm not really involved with the actual cost of the contract. Okay. But it's usually done by usually the contract is set up so it's done by study. So, each study, the hospital gets this amount and the company that does gets the majority by far. As far as the physicians go, we have a separate billing because we have a professional component that we bill separately.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful to kind of put the whole picture together.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, do you have any questions so far?
Do I have any?
Oh, no.
Oh, you do everything. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. My name's Joey, by the way. I didn't think I introduced myself earlier. So you mentioned, I know you said you weren't too familiar with the cost of these contracts, but I just kind of want to get some thoughts generally on reimbursement, kind of similar to utilization. Mm-hmm. So we're aware that within the last year or the last year and a half or so, Medicare kind of took a big cut, about $100 cut to the in-lab for these sleep diagnostic services. Do you have any thoughts on that? Kind of if that was kind of the big, other than
you mean something that doesn't involve a 4-letter word?
If you want to, there could be some good description in there.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. This is the nature of what's been going on in medicine in general. I'm not saying that sleep medicine have seen something different from, what we see in internal medicine or surgery or pulmonary medicine that I'm also involved with. I mean, Medicare has made cuts. Actually, another comment would be that Medicare has also gotten a lot dumber, to put it in words. I mean, what's happened is that they've restricted not the testing, but the supplying of equipment, stuff that makes absolutely no sense, to the point where they may request me to do another study on a patient that I've already done for one reason or another that they didn't like it, so I have to do another study, which costs them money and actually pays me so that they can avoid paying for the equipment that costs overall less for time. Mm-hmm. So it's been sort of the hassle has been, Medicare, which used to be actually easier to deal with, is now it's become much more complex, let's say, since the last election. That has just been, it's just changed. I mean, their behavior has changed to be much more antagonistic and confrontational. Sound like anybody we know?
Yeah, I know. I spent some time reading some CMS press releases, and you definitely get that kind of confrontational tone, even in something you never thought you would think, like in home health rates. A little confrontational.
So it's been a different situation as far as the other insurers go. Now, keep in mind that sleep apnea and sleep disorders is not just a thing of the elderly. In fact, I would say the majority of my patients are not elderly or not Medicare patients, that they're commercial insurance patients. Mm-hmm. So the situation is a little different. Now, they've also been restricted because of wanting to do studies, but once you've done the study, they've been more helpful in getting the equipment to patients. So whether you do a home study or you do a polysomnography, they've been a little easier to deal with in terms of getting equipment as opposed to getting the study. In terms of getting the study, Medicare has been is easy to get the study, which they always will approve a polysomnography in the lab, but as you've noticed, they've cut the reimbursements on that.
Okay. So generally, does your commercial reimbursement generally follow